Assalamu alaikum students. Today we are going to talk about speaking and listening skills. I have uploaded this lecture quite late because I was waiting for the colleges to open, but it seems that there's no chance, or maybe they open after some while. So we'll begin our lecture. Okay. So first we will begin with the language skills. Language skills refers to the skills that helps in better communication. Language skills are different methods of communication with each other. हम जो एक दूसरे से communicate करते हैं उसके लिए जो skills चाहिए होती हैं those are known as language skills, and language skills doesn't mean that we just read things or speak things. It also include listening and writing. For better language skills, you need to have better listening skills, better speaking skills, good reading skills, and good writing skills. When all these are accumulated together, then you have good language skills. Listening and speaking are also known as oracy skills, while reading and writing are also known as literacy skills. The word oracy comes from it means सुनना. ठीक है, सुनना या बोलने से जो related जो चीज़ें हैं उसको हम oracy skills बोलते हैं. So that is why listening and speaking are known as oracy skills, and reading and writing are known as literacy skills. Uh, if you might check it, the definition of literacy skills or literacy or literate people, you will see that most often people who cannot read and write, even if they can listen and speak, but if they cannot read and write, they are not known as literate. You have to be good at reading and writing to be literate in a language. Now, oracy skills can be defined. Oracy can be defined as the range of speaking and listening skills necessary for effective communication and collaboration. It's quite easy. Oracy skills simply refer to the listening and speaking skills, which are very important for a better communication. Now, speaking effectively defined as speaking in such a way that your message is clearly heard and, if possible, acted upon. This means that whatever you say, it should be clear to everyone. Whoever listens to you, they should understand what you are saying. And acted upon means that if the circumstance or the context requires, then you should speak in a such a manner that people act upon whatever you speak. If you are ordering, people should listen to you. If you are advising people, you should be effective enough to affect people, and in a way that they do what you are trying to say. Now, there are two main elements to speaking effectively. The first one is what you say and how you say it. What you say means your choice of words. The words you might use when chatting to a friend are likely to be quite different from those used in a formal presentation or interview. It's very important that you choose your words according to the context. If you're speaking to a friend of yours, you are going to use different kind of vocabulary and words, but if you are speaking to a child, you are going to use different kind of vocabulary. For children, you cannot use difficult words. When you're talking to a teacher, you have to complicate your vocabulary to some extent. Also, in the same manner, when you are trying to make a presentation, you have different kind of language, and when you are trying to give an interview, you use a different kind of spoken language. Then the way that you speak means whether you speak loudly, slowly, or by whispering. It also vary in different situations. For example, you have to talk loudly when giving a speech, but might speak slowly when someone is speaking. Moreover, there is difference in your tone when you speak to a friend, parent, boss, or teacher. So speaking, whenever you are speaking, the first thing is that you choose your words wisely, and then it depends how you are speaking, whether your tone is loud or not. For instance, if a teacher is talking to you in class, she is giving lectures to you, she is most likely to speak in a louder voice. But if you meet your teacher in a staff room, then there's a higher chance that she is going to speak in a low tone. She's not going to speak loudly. Also, when let's suppose students often talk when the teacher is giving lectures, so the students all usually whisper to each other. They speak very slowly so that the teacher cannot listen to them. So whenever you speak, all these things also matter. The way of speaking matters a lot. Then now we are going to study the aspects and or skills or components of effective speaking. So in order to be a good speaker, it is also important that you are a good listener as well. A good listener would also listen to others and then speak. Listening is an important part of communication. A person should listen with concentration to the person who is speaking. This makes the speaker feel very comfortable. It is very important that you listen to others. If you want to communicate with us, you have to listen to others. For instance, when someone wants to share a problem with you, it's very important that you listen to everything they say and you don't just jump to conclusions by one or two things that they say. Uh, Therapists, psychological therapists, or psychiatrists, they often the good thing about them is that they listen to what a patient is trying to say whenever they are trying to tackle some psychological issue. So, listening is very important to be a good speaker because only in that way would you be able to know what you have to speak, and this you will also make the other person very comfortable. Then we have body language. It's very important that you have the correct body language. Uh, the speaker should not cross arms or legs. They should be kept open. It's not kept, they should be kept open so that the listener feel he is welcome. When you cross your arms, the listener appears to think that you're not interested in them or you're not welcome. So you have to take care of your body language. Then we have eye contact. It is very important that whenever you are speaking, you should maintain an eye contact with the people who are listening to you. Eye contact helps in making other people feel that they are important. It also increases the confidence of the speaker. So, let's suppose whenever you are giving a presentation in class, it is very important that you maintain an eye contact with your teacher and the student. The moment you establish the eye contact, it somehow increases your confidence, and it also gives a very good gesture to the listeners who think that they are important. If you are not looking at the listeners, then it makes them feel uncomfortable. The next is sympathy. The speaker should show sympathy to the listeners. The listener should not be criticized. For instance, as I mentioned, that usually the therapists listen to their patients in a very cordial manner. They listen to every word that they say. But let's suppose if the therapist starts to criticize the patient, then this will cause a lot of problems for the patient who is already suffering from some mental or psychological issue. So whenever you are speaking, you should show some sympathy to the listeners and you should not criticize them unnecessarily or be angry with them. Okay, another important aspect is that your message should be very clear, it's obvious, and there should be no confusion. You should not leave the listener confused. Then it is very important that the knowledge of your speech is very appropriate and it's full knowledge. You should know whatever topic you are discussing. For instance, if a person is speaking about Surah Fatiha, that person should have full information about its history and purpose. Whenever you are teaching something out of context, it causes a lot of misunderstanding and even misconceptions are made because of that. So, whenever you are speaking, you should have full knowledge about the content. Then, it is also important that you know about your audience. You know that every audience differs. If your audiences are children, then you should come down to their level. But if you are talking to an elder, you should speak according to their level. Uh, you can see that there is some different words below in the memes or the pictures, and you might not even know what the first word is. So let's suppose you don't know the meaning which is given below, and you tell this word to someone else, they might not understand, especially if you tell this to a child. So it is very important that you are well aware of your audience level and you speak according to that. Next, we have confidence. It is very important that this person who is speaking is very confident. It is not necessary that you are speaking in some big hall, giving some speeches, and then you should be confident. You should also be confident in one-to-one interaction when you are interacting with your friend, when you are interacting with your teachers. It is very beneficial for the speaker, as well as it also makes the audience feel that the speaker knows a lot. So whenever you are confident, you also make the audience confident about your authenticity. Okay, next we have asking questions. You might have noted that whenever some teachers are giving lectures, they ask questions before the lecture, between the lecture, or after the lecture. That is true. This is a good skill of communicating effectively or effective speaking. As it's written that a good speaker should engage the audience in the discussion. Asking questions can greatly help a person. In this way, a person can get feedback, advices, and recommendations. So whenever you ask questions, you involve the audience in the discussion. They do not feel bored by the discussion, and then it also helps the speaker get something better, some productive feedback or different kinds of recommendations or advices. Then make everyone feel included. Whenever a person is speaking, he should talk in a way that all the people feel that they are included in the discussion. For instance, in lectures, the students should feel that the teacher is lecturing both weak and intelligent students and not merely the intelligent ones. So uh, every time you're speaking, it's very important that you do not make someone feel left out, because it hurts, it affects their psychological uh, health as well. If this thing recurrently occurs, so you should make everyone feel included. For instance, whenever you are, let's suppose you are teaching in a class, you should speak in a manner that all the weak and intelligent people feel included. Or let's suppose you are in some gathering, so or your friends are sitting in a group. So this should not happen. One of you is perpetually speaking and you're not letting others feel included, or two or three friends keep talking and do not let the other students talk. That makes them feel left out. So whenever you are speaking, you should talk in a way, you should moderate the communication in a way that everyone feels included. Then another aspect of effective speaking is calling people by their names. If the speaker calls people by their name, the people from the audience or the listeners feel very good. So this makes the people feel that they are very welcome and important. Then volume of sound. It's also important that whenever you are speaking, your volume of sound should change according to the discussion. Let's suppose if someone is angry, it is very necessary that it's not even necessary. You might have noted that people speak very loudly when they are angry. If someone is angry and they do not speak loudly, then it does not have the same effect. And let's suppose you are sitting in a library. It's very important that if you speak, you speak in a very low voice. Or let's suppose you are asking a question from your teacher and you are sitting right at the back of the class. You should speak very loudly so that the teacher can listen to you. Even if you are sitting in the front, you should speak somewhat loudly because the teacher can listen to you, but other students should also listen to you. So let's suppose if they have some confusion, the same confusion, then their confusion would also be eradicated. Then it's very important that your grammar is very good, because whenever, if let's suppose your grammar is not correct, then misunderstandings can be made. For instance, let's see the first image. It's written that sorry, we're close. They want to say that sorry, we are close, but now they have used the wrong spelling, where. And then this in the second one, no smoking allowed. So the spelling here should be ALLOWED, but they have used the other word allowed, which means in a loud voice. Then we have this Pashto example, Zid Sabat Talehum. This means that I went tomorrow. Uh, here it's been used. Pashto speakers would understand this sentence that it's not correct. Even you cannot say that I went tomorrow. In English or in Urdu, मैं कल गई थी. In Urdu, kal is used for both yesterday and tomorrow, but in this way, it is grammatically incorrect. Then in Urdu, let's see the next example, the last example. Khasta in Urdu is a word which means something in a very bad condition, but in Pashto, khaista means something in a very good condition. So a small change in intonation has made the entire meaning opposite. So it's very important that you have good grammar when you are speaking, or misunderstandings are created. Okay, next we have listening. In order to learn a language, it is very important that a person learns to listen carefully. Listening means understanding what is being said to us. When we listen, our ears receive sound, the sounds are sent to our brain converts the sound into something meaningful, such as words and sound. So it is very important that if you want to listen, if you want to learn a language, you should listen. You should be a good listener. Children are good listeners, and that is why they are able to learn a language. Let's suppose if a non-English speaker wants to learn English, it is very important that they listen to English audios, or even watch English movies. So whenever they listen, they start to learn the language in a better manner. They know the pronunciations in a better manner, and they also, the language and structure automatically starts ingraining in the mind of the person. The process of listening has been explained here, that whenever we listen, our ears receive some sounds. Those sounds are meaningfully sent to those sounds are sent to our brain, and those are then converted into something meaningful in our brain as words and sentences. Here, in the last word here is not correct. The words and sentences would be correct thing. I'm sorry for the mistake. Now, listening skills. Listening skills refers to the ability of concentrating on what others are saying. It means effectively interpreting the meaning of what is being said to us. The advantages of listening includes, okay, first, so listening skills refers to the ability of listening to others, concentrating on what others are trying to say to us. If we listen to others only, then we would be able to understand what they are trying to tell us, and and also, as we discussed above, that it helps us in understanding or learning a language in a better manner. And if we listen in a better manner, then we also are able to effectively interpret what is being said to us, and what is required from us. So there are different advantages of listening. For instance, listening helps in making a person learn a language. It helps one understand what people are saying. It helps one understand how to pronounce words properly, because obviously when you're listening to a language, you know that this thing is pronounced in this manner. For instance, note the image, the middle image, Wednesday. The correct pronunciation is Wednesday, but whenever we read it, we feel like it is Wednesday, but the pronunciation actually is Wednesday. So if you're listening to a language or English language only, then would you be able to know that this is basically Wednesday and not Wednesday. Okay, so apart from that, listening also helps in increasing knowledge, and it also helps in increasing your enjoyment. Obviously, if you listen to jokes, you would enjoy things, or the instance in which you are living. And if someone is sharing something good, something knowledgeable, some information, then it would also increase your knowledge. Okay, so there are two types of listening. The first one is active listening, and the second one is passive listening. Uh, Listening is an important part of communication. A person should listen with concentration to the person who is speaking. This makes the speaker feel very comfortable. The listener should not interrupt again and again. One should only interrupt when listener wants to clarify something which is confusing him. So active listening means that you have to be very concentrative. You should listen to the other person in a very with concentration, and in this way you would be able to learn a lot of knowledge. You will be able to understand what the speaker is saying. This would also help the speaker become very comfortable. And it is very important that as an active listener you should not interrupt the speaker again and again. You should only interrupt the speaker when you have some very big confusion, otherwise the flow of the communication is disturbed. Okay, so passive listening is the listening without full attention. It means when you're not going your full attention, you're not concentrating. Such a person is often distracted from what is being said. He's sitting quietly without responding to what the speaker is saying. A common example of passive learning is listening to music or radio when you're doing something. Here the music is running, but the listener is concentrating on some other work. So passive listening means simply that you're not listening with concentration to whatever is being said. A good example is listening to music while you're studying. So when you are studying, your whole concentration is on the books and your copies, but you are not fully aware of what is being said in the songs that you are listening to. Other example, let's suppose you are sitting in class and you did not sleep at night, so there's a high chance that you are going to act as a passive listener in the class because you're not going to listen to what your teacher is saying. Okay, so passive listening occurs when the listener has low self-motivation level, when the listener does not want to learn something or is not in a good mood. Then when a person is thinking about something else, when you are preoccupied, when you are thinking about something else, you are not going to listen to the person who is speaking in front of you. Then passive listening also occurs when the person is not interested in the person who is speaking, or a person who does not want to learn. He also acts as a passive listener. Then a person does not want to question the speaker, like there's no motivation in the person and he does not want to interact with the speaker, so he's not going to ask questions and he's not going to discuss anything. So again passive listening occurs. Then passive listening occurs when a person is not letting others speak. You are perpetually saying things, but you are not letting others speak. There again, that's a flaw in your communication, and you are a passive listener. You are not a good listener or an active listener because you are not listening to others. And a person is criticizing others too much. Again, a passive listener does not let others speak, and that person also usually criticizes others too much. If you let others speak, then there is a high chance that you are going to understand what they are trying to say or what they want to say or what is in their heart. But if you do not listen to others, you are not going to understand who they are and what they are, and you are going to criticize them. Okay, so components of effective listening. In order to listen, it is very important that you stop talking and listen more. Let the speaker finish first, and then you must start talking. Then listen more. The more you should stop talking, and then you should also focus on the speaker and pay attention to them and let them speak. Then make the speaker feel comfortable. Make the speaker feel comfortable and allow him to talk as much as he wants. And again, as we read previously, that you can maintain an eye contact with them, and also you should show some sympathy, and you should not have a body language that makes the speaker feel that you're not listening to them. Then remove distractions. Do not create any kind of distraction by different things, like usually students stick their pens in the class. Don't do that. Don't shuffle your papers or your books, or Don't make any other kinds of distraction. If you have something in your mind, just let that go and listen carefully to the speaker. Only then would you be able to listen effectively. Again, then we have that you should show sympathy to the person who is speaking, and you should not criticize the speaker unnecessarily. Then be very patient. Let the speaker speak as much as he wants, so that he or she can tell you what's on his or her mind. So it's very important that you are a patient person. Otherwise, you are going to make distractions, or you are going to interrupt again and again. Then concentrate on the body language of the listener as well. As you might see in the following picture, that there are different body languages. In the first picture, the person is very angry, even though you cannot listen to him, but you can see from his body language that he is angry. In the second picture, the child is very sad. In the third picture, the person is looking very happy. So even if you cannot listen to them, you can understand from their body language that they are having certain emotions. So in order to be an effective listener, you should also know how to read the body language of the other person. Okay, so it is very important that whenever you are listening to others, show to the lead speaker that you are listening to them. Give them that vibe, give them some feedback of, give them the response through comments or words, small words such as yes, okay, so that the listener know that you are listening to them without being interrupted. Then your concentration can also be revealed through questioning. Ask questions from the speaker, so, and relevant questions, so that the speaker knows that you are concentrating. Okay, then you have clarification. Clarification involves asking questions from the speaker to make sure that the correct message has been received. If you are confused about something the speaker has said, if you were unable to understand something, just ask them certain questions and they would clarify those things. Apart from that, feedback is also very important for the listener. Whenever a speaker says things, whenever someone makes a speech, or a teacher says something, you should give a feedback about it. So